What do we think about the Ravens, though? I think a lot of people think they're the best team right now. They're the cream of the crop in the league. They haven't had success in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Are they a legit team this year? Do you see them making a Super Bowl run?
I think they really are the best team right now because of the way they finished the season. They
Yeah,
dominated against some of the best teams in the league, the 49ers, the Miami Dolphins, and anybody that was put in front of them.
yeah.
The thing that worries me is they're resting a lot of their guys this week. They're going to get a bye week off the next week, and then it'll be 3 weeks before they actually play. And as a football player, you want to stay within that routine and that habit of what you've been going through the whole season to make you successful. And sometimes, and I think the time they got beat in the playoffs when they were number one, it was because they got that bye week off and they came out flat. And a lot of teams do come out flat after that layoff. So if I was them, I would like play Lamar a couple of series in the game and then pull him out. At least he's going through the routine of playing every week, and he stays on schedule. So that's the only thing that concerns me about this team and some of the guys that they're sitting down. How sharp are they going to be in 3 weeks after going through a season where they're used to playing week after week after week?
How about the NFC, Warren? Yeah, obviously, like we're saying, we've got the 49ers. The Eagles are, look, they played in close games all year. They won a lot of them, but the second half of the season hasn't been kind to them. What do you make of the NFC? Is it the 49ers you like? Is it the Cowboys at home? What do you make of the other conference?
Well, I like the 49ers because they're going to be at home if they're the number one seed.
Yeah.
Detroit is a team that's very impressive. They went into Dallas last week. A lot of people think they got robbed on that call and probably won that football game. So they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs. And then, of course, Dallas. You just don't know what Dallas is going to show up. But if they get a chance to get the home field advantage by winning their division this week, they're going to be a tough team to put out when they play at home because they're undefeated at home this year. So the NFC is going to be a little bit more competitive, I think, this year. And it didn't seem like that way early in the year, but it's going to turn out that way, I think.
Two quick ones for you, Warren. The Browns obviously got a great defense, and with Joe Flacco, the offense has looked great. Obviously, with Amari, they've got a connection going. Is there anything that Joe Flacco can do where you would say, hey, he should be the quarterback going into next season?
Well, we just have to wait and see how this season finishes. But he
Yeah.
sure has been one of the great stories in the league this year. And who knows if he even wants to come back next year.
Right.
But right now, he's playing at a very high level. But he's only had to play what 5 or 6 games so
Yeah.
far. Can he go through a whole 2022 game schedule? At his age next year. So I think they're going to take what they got right now and see how far they can go with this. Whenever you can play defense like they can play defense, you have a chance in any game. And then they've got that extra motivation that Joe Flacco is playing out of his mind. The defense feeds off of that. They feel like if we have a chance to win and we have a chance to put points on the board, we're going to play even harder. So they're going to be a tough out if they do get beat in the playoffs, especially if they have to play a Ravens team who they know very well being
Yeah.
within the division have played them twice already this year.
I got a guy here who is Lucas, a massive Browns fan. He's been saying Super Bowl since I don't know, like week 8 or 9. Do you think they're contenders?
When you can play defense like that
Yeah.
and you get into the playoffs, you have a chance. And I think the thing that lifts them up is because of the way Joe is playing. He's not just playing uh, efficient football. He's
Right.
playing big play football. He's throwing
Yeah.
the ball down the field. He's over 300 yards every football game. He has turned it over some, but he's made up for it with big throws down the field. So that's a scary team that can play defense, and you have a quarterback that's playing out of his mind, and the rest of the team is feeding off that.
And lastly, Warren, somebody obviously I know somebody you've mentored, Russell Wilson. We saw what happened in Denver. Where does Russell go from here? What's a good landing spot for him? I mean, where does Russell Wilson resume his career?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a kind of unfortunate situation for him and for the Denver Broncos. It just
Yeah.
wasn't a good marriage, and it didn't work with the coach last year, and it's not working with Sean Payton this year. But I'm sure there are teams around the league that could use a guy like him. You look at the Atlanta Falcons. I think they could use a quarterback. I think the New York Giants, who
Mm.
I don't think have really found their quarterback that they're looking for. Maybe there's a chance he goes there. So there's some other places around the league. Once all the dust settles, when the season is over, and we see what happens, even Indianapolis or somewhere like that. Even though they drafted a young kid, maybe he's not ready to play right now. And you
Mm.
give a couple of years with Russell there. So Russell's a
Not a
guy
bad
that
mentor, right?
he just has to be in the right. He just has to be in the right situation. Denver was not the right situation with Sean Payton.
Do you think he would go to a place that has a young quarterback and act as a veteran mentor who started and then was okay giving that job up? Or is Russ not at that place right now?
Well, yeah, he's a competitive guy, but he also has to understand that he is getting older, and
Yeah.
some of the things that made him special as far as his escapability and things like that are starting to leave him as he gets older. So uh, I think he'll be a guy that knows after a couple of more years, he'll be 36, 37 years old. That might be the time to step away and give the reins over to someone else.